Am I the colonel? Am I the anus? Hi there, I'm Roux. Welcome to my video, and welcome to yet another week of the apocalypse. I'm actually recording this really early, as in the week before, because I'm going to the doctor on Monday. I am not excited. For all of the ladies out there, you know what I'm talking about when I say that having your bits poked around for exams sucks ass. I hate it. Sometimes I just wish I had a penis because then everything would be on the outside. Because when you have on the inside, they poke around to see if everything's alright. And you have to do that every year. Yay. Today I thought we'd have another round of Am I the Antagonist? Am I the colonel? Am I the anus? With these wonderful stories, I'm saying Uncle. Ultimatum. Get out of my crib. Can't hear you. And free babysitters don't have feelings. Spoiler alert, all of these stories are from before the apocalypse. So don't be worrying that these people didn't follow social distancing guidelines. It's just pre-apocalypse. First world apocalypse-free problems. I want to thank everyone for staying the fuck home before we begin, because it's hella hard. Because humans are social animals. So, I get it's hard AF, but you're a hero. Keep doing what you're doing. Save the world, huh? Stay the fuck home. Without further ado, though, let's get started. I'm saying Uncle. Am I the antagonist for kicking my uncle out because he yelled at my 3-year-old? My uncle, 41, lives with my husband, my 3-year-old twins, and I. My uncle lives with us because he's disabled physically. He got in a car accident a few years ago, and he fucked up his back and can't really live by himself. And we had an extra bedroom in our house. Anyway, he's not the biggest fan of kids, and there's been a few incidences where he's lost his patience with my kids. And I've warned him that it wasn't going to slide, and that he was on thin ice. This morning, my son woke up and went into the living room instead of waking us up and started playing on his little tablet. I can see the living room from our bedroom, so I laid in bed and just kind of listened to him, and for my daughter to get up. Suddenly, I hear a door slam open and my uncle scream, "Turn the fucking volume down and the lights off, you little fucker!" I jumped up and ran into the living room and grabbed my son and told my uncle to go back into his room. When the kids went down for their nap, I knocked on his door and told him it was the last straw. I was going to call my grandmother and tell her the incident and that he was going to have to live with her or figure something else quick because he wasn't going to live with us anymore. He blew up and said it wasn't his fault my kids don't know how to behave at 7 a.m. and that I was a shitty mom for not disciplining them. When I called my grandmother, she and her husband told me it was cold to give them and my uncle an ultimatum and that I was overreacting. Everyone loses their temper sometimes. Am I the antagonist? Edit to clarify. I wouldn't hesitate if he wasn't disabled, but he has very few options besides us. That's my issue with my decision. Nah, you not the asshole. He's literally a guest in your house, and then he's like acting as if he's the king of the hill, dictating how things should go. He sounds incredibly entitled. Having a disability doesn't give you a free pass to be a dick. Next! The ultimatum. Am I the antagonist for telling my sister she can either get a hotel on Fridays or babysit? I am the mother of a 9-year-old boy. His father isn't involved, but his aunt, Liz, is. There's a few reasons why he's not involved. All good and valid reasons, and I don't hold any of it against him, which is why I'm totally fine with Liz acting in the capacity of aunt. I have a boyfriend, not the father, who doesn't live with me. I have a sister, Kat. She just broke up with her ex and moved out of their place. She's been sleeping on my sofa for 3 weeks now while she sorts out somewhere else to live. She hates babysitting, so I've never asked her to, even before she lived with me. My boyfriend and my son are fairly comfortable with each other, but I only introduced them about 4 months ago, and he hasn't spent the night at my place yet. We work nearby and spend time together as part of our work. The system we have worked out is we see each other during work, take my son somewhere on weekends, and on Fridays we go on dates. Every Friday, Liz comes over and watches him for me. And on alternate Fridays, I stay over at my boyfriend's place, and Liz stays over at mine. Tonight is a Friday that I don't stay over at my boyfriend's place. I've gotten back from my date and arrived home to find Cat and Liz arguing. I got the full story. Cat basically made some derogatory comments about my son's father. My son didn't hear, and Liz told her to knock it off in case he did hear. Once Liz put my son to bed, Cat started up again, and Liz told her to watch her mouth. This is when I arrived. This is the third time she's fought with Liz in 3 weeks, and Liz has only been over 3 times total. I thanked Liz for coming. She left, and I told Cat she couldn't be starting fights with Liz. Cat then said that she felt Liz being involved when the father wasn't was a bad idea. I said that wasn't a problem, and I needed her not to piss Liz off because I'd lose the one remaining link to my son's father's family, as well as a babysitter. I asked if she thought she could stop arguing with Liz for my sake. She then said that Liz just rubs me the wrong way. I told her that if she seriously cannot be around Liz without arguing with her, then she has 2 options. Get a hotel every Friday, or babysit for me so Liz doesn't have to come over. That's it. She is now calling me a bitch, saying I'm being unfair, saying I'm insensitive for kicking her out every week. Is this me? Nah, girl. The fact that your sister just waltzes up into your house and goes, "Actually, I don't think this is gonna work out for me." Really? Really? It's good for your kid to have a connection with his father's family, and for whatever reason that seems to be an amicable one, he doesn't have a connection with his father, so it's really good that he has a connection with his aunt. I don't understand Cat at all. She seems really simple-minded and petty. Next! Get out of my crib! Am I the antagonist for cutting off my mother-in-law just weeks before my baby is due? I am 32 female, and I am 37 weeks pregnant. Me and my husband, 35, have been together for 12 years, and this will be our first baby. My mother-in-law has always been a bit quirky, sometimes leaning closer to strange. For example, one day my husband couldn't make it to an ultrasound appointment with me, so mother-in-law came instead. She drove me because I have trouble driving in my small car with this big tummy. During the ultrasound, she would say things like, "Listen to our baby's heartbeat," and, "Oh, our baby looks so big and strong." Okay, so that did bother me somewhat, but I let it go. Which leads me to what happened on Thursday. My husband and I took mother-in-law, father-in-law, and sister-in-law out for dinner. Mother-in-law started talking to my husband about what he would do if I died during childbirth. She wanted to know what his plan was, if we had life insurance on each other, and who would be our baby's mother if anything should happen to me. I was gobsmacked. My father-in-law sat there quietly, as he is usually not allowed to go against mother-in-law, or there would be hell to pay. The joke in the family is that she carries his balls around in her purse. My sister-in-law nudged her and told her that this wasn't appropriate, and mother-in-law just kept on with it, until I got out of my seat and left. Husband followed me to the front door, and I told him to pay, and I went outside. At first, he was mad at me for storming out, but I would have said things I would regret if I had stayed one more second. We discussed it for several hours, and I decided that I didn't want her around for the rest of my pregnancy, and up to and including the birth. After that, we will reevaluate and see if her behavior has changed. It may seem pretty harmless to some, but I just do not need the extra stress of constantly hearing about my upcoming death, and don't want to hear it again. Am I the antagonist for cutting her off for the time being? No. Oh my. I imagine that childbirth is terrifying enough as it is. You don't really need to be focusing on the possible, negatives, as in death. Like, most women don't die anymore of childbirth. It used to be a very common thing that women would die during childbirth, but nowadays is hella uncommon. And for your mother-in-law to focus on that, after repeatedly making some sort of overstepping of, oh, maybe this is her baby and it's like a do-over and she might be losing her husband as a baby, but she can get a new one because the new baby is like her baby. It's giving me those kinds of vibes, and yeah, I would not have her around. I'm just like imagining her being in the waiting room like, huh, did she die? It's like, no. Oh, okay then. Like, I would genuinely be terrified. Next! Can't hear you! Am I the antagonist for telling my husband that he cannot wear headphones anymore? My husband works early in the morning by his choice, from 5 a.m. to 12 p.m. I work from 8 to 6. When my husband gets home, he immediately starts watching TV. He wears a pair of wireless headphones. He puts the volume extremely loud. I can hear every word from the headphones when I'm standing all the way across the room. Because of his headphones, he does not hear the landline phone ringing. I've asked him to keep his cell phone nearby, but he is cell phone illiterate, and apparently he doesn't notice when it's buzzing in his pocket. This past week, our 16-year-old daughter called me at around 4, in tears. Her car had an issue. Both she and her sister, 13, were on the side of the highway. I was obviously very upset, but still at work. I asked if she'd called her father, since he was in the best position to come help them. She said she'd called his cell phone and his landline several times, and nobody had answered. I had to leave work early, which was inconvenient to my boss and colleagues, to go help them. They were fine, by the way, but we had to call a tow truck and I drove them both home. I got home and I was furious with my husband. In my opinion, he's being completely negligent. Knowing that his family is all out and could need his help. I might understand if he was at work, but he's just sitting on his ass watching hours of TV. I told him he couldn't use the headphones anymore and couldn't turn the TV up so loud he couldn't hear the phone. I said until he got the message, I would be calling him every day to check and see that he's answering. He was furious and accused me of treating him like a child. I told him that I was because he's acting like one. This is not the first time he's been unreachable in an emergency. Basically, we're at a standoff now. I almost want to throw them away. Our daughters are not a fan of the fighting, but have confided in me that they think I'm right. Am I the antagonist? No? He should legit get his hearing checked, though. If he has to have it on, like, max volume when he's having headphones on, he's not only destroying his hearing, but it sounds like he already has pretty destroyed hearing to have needed to be that loud. Maybe he needs, like, hearing devices? I don't know. But yeah, it's completely inconsiderate. If I was a parent to humanoids and I knew that they were out and about and they could need my help and I already messed up by not being reachable in an emergency, I would never do that again. I would be so afraid of doing that again. Like, it blows my mind that he didn't change his ways after the first time. That blows my mind. Yeah, so you're not the antagonist and he's being pretty immature. Next! Free babysitters don't have feelings? Am I the antagonist for not letting my daughter move out of the home? I don't think she's ready. I, 41 female, am a mother of 3. I have raised my eldest daughter on my own until my now partner, 30 male, came along. I have raised my 2 youngest with my partner. So my eldest daughter, 17 female, has expressed to me that she wants to move out of the house and in with her boyfriend, 17 male, of 2 years. She sat down with me and told me how she is very unhappy at home. She doesn't want to listen to her younger siblings screaming. She has a bad mental state. Blah, blah, blah. Those sort of things. She said she felt she is ready and that, in our country, she is of age to move out without permission from parents or guardians. I googled it and she is right about that. But I don't think she is ready, in my personal opinion. She argued that she can take care of herself. She has a job. She is financially stable. She is learning to drive. She can cook. She can clean. Whatever. But despite this, I don't feel she's ready to leave the nest yet. She is very forgetful and clumsy at times. She can't cook real food. She spills things and knocks things about. She misplaces things and loses things all the time. She's very quiet and won't talk to people and just sits in her room and acts depressed. She's just very clueless and dramatic, and I don't want to send her out in the world like this. Plus, I don't think this is fair on her little siblings. They love her a lot, and they would be really sad if she just up and left them. That being said, I love my daughter very much, and I'm only trying to do what is in her best interest. Her mental state is fine, and she doesn't need to leave, in my opinion. I'm just convinced she's not ready to survive in the world on her own. She wasn't happy about my decision, and she said that this wasn't my decision to make. She said that she was just simply telling me she will be moving out soon. Over the past few weeks, I've caught her sneaking bags of clothes to work with her to take to her boyfriend's place afterwards. I took them away from her and put them back in her room, obviously. I was talking to my friend the other night about this, and she seemed a bit shocked. She told me I was the asshole and I was basically disregarding my daughter's feelings, as she put it. I think that's really extreme, and that it's not her place to tell me how to parent. So, am I the asshole? I think I'm within my right to be looking out for my daughter and keep her home until I feel she's ready. Bitch! If someone's not ready here, it's you. This reeks of, oh, I don't want my older child to move out because she's my free babysitter. It's disgusting. Shame on you. What the fuck? It's so clear in this situation that she doesn't care at all about her daughter's emotions. She's literally just like, in the comments of this, she's like, she hasn't been diagnosed with any mental issues. She hasn't been diagnosed. So therefore she's faking it. And it's like, she's literally sitting in her room shy and not talking to anyone because she's hella depressed because your ass decided to have more babies with some young ass dude and be like, oh, guess who gets to be the free babysitter? And when your daughter's like, actually, this is draining the fucking life out of me, and goes, I'ma nope the fuck out, you're like, no, don't leave us, don't abandon your children, siblings. They'd miss you. It's like, she's not abandoning them. What the hell? Parent your own goddamn children. What? Oh my god. So she posted an edit. Okay, I didn't expect so many to jump onto this. I'm looking at all of the comments and I wasn't really expecting the asshole judgment, but oh well. So she works a full-time job doing an internship or apprenticeship. I'm not entirely sure which one. And she attends college once a week. See, she doesn't even know what her daughter's doing. I'm not entirely sure. The reason I won't take her mental health seriously is because she's not really diagnosed with anything. She doesn't have depression or anxiety or anything like that. She just acts like she does. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that immediately when you have anxiety or depression, magically just a therapist pops out of thin air and goes, I have diagnosed you. You have anxiety and depression. No. The first thing that happens is they tell someone, hey, you know what? I'm unhappy. And then that person goes, really? That's so bad. Let's get you some help. But instead of that, you reacted with, really? I don't believe you. I will hold you hostage and have you as my free babysitter forever. Yeah. As for the boyfriend, I've met him many times and he seems very nice. Always taking her out, always hugging her, laughing together. He buys her gifts. He was there for her when she got bullied. They've never had any huge arguments or fought or broken up. They were also best friends for a bit before they got together. Just a bit quiet, but other than that, he seems alright for her in my books. Edit 2. As I mentioned, I didn't expect so many people to comment on this. There are too many comments to reply to, so I'm going to read them and process them as I wasn't really expecting an asshole judgment. Thanks for the judgments. Edit 3. Correcting information about my partner. Edit 4. Can some of you stop messaging me and telling me I should die or I need to kill myself? I'm processing all of these comments at the moment and that's all I can do right now. Yeah. Well, that's what happens when you openly admit that you're using your child. You're not looking out for her best interests, you're looking out for your best interest. Because in reality, maybe you were a little bit too old to have more kids. But the new young guy was like, hey, you're 41, and I'm 30, and I really want my own semen demons. So, yeah, we're about to pop those out. And you're like, okay, that's okay. I have my own free babysitter that can take care of them. I raised her until she was like 15 or something, so now it's her turn. I hate people like this. Hate him. They drive me up the wall. I had a friend whose parents were like this. Yeah, let me just say, that never goes well. And the children always go, yeah, I'ma never talk to you ever again. And then the parents are like, shocked Pikachu face. What? What do you mean you never want to come over for Christmas? What do you mean we stole your childhood and made you co-parent with us? What do you mean? Yeah. That's all I have for you guys this time. I hope you had a wonderful time and that you'll come back next Friday. And soon every Wednesday too, which is when I post. Fridays, always, and soon every Wednesday too. Thank you so much to my wonderful patrons, Capra, Magdalena Wurska, Cami, and Ellie. And thank you to everyone out there for staying the fuck home and staying safe and washing your hands and saving the world during the pandemic. Let's save the world by being super hermits. See you next time. Bye.